people and the right questions. Riveting.
It's a pleasure to be interviewed.
David Sillito, BBC News.
All right, well, joining us now to discuss just some of those interviews, Ali Catterall, TV critic for The Guardian. Good morning to you. Where to begin? It's a good thing, actually, to be reminded of some of the greats and actually some of the not so greats, the memorable ones that for the wrong reasons, perhaps. What are yours? What are your top?
Oh, so many. I mean, a lot of them featured Jeremy Paxman, actually. I mean, the man is just gold when it comes to interviews. I think one of my favourite is when he asked Norman Lamont, who was then Chancellor, "Do you enjoy being Chancellor?" "Yes, very much." "Going to miss it?" You know, this tremendous rudeness that he has about him. And of course, you showed the Michael Howard, which is absolutely classic. You know, like 14 times I think he asked.
Yeah, there are interviews where you remember the questions. For all the right reasons. Interviews where you remember the answers, I suppose. Interviews where you think, gosh, they really nailed that interviewee. And then there are others where you remember, I suppose, what was revealed. So it's hard to sort of place one behind the other.
I mean, a lot of them, actually, I think they reveal perhaps more about the interviewer than the interviewer was actually anticipating, perhaps. It's funny, you showed the Meg Ryan and Parky one. It's possible to actually read that both ways. You know, in some respects, you can watch that and think, well, Meg Ryan's being Miss sort of Frosty, you know. You then watch it back again, you think, actually, Parky's being quite rude. He's being a bit of a chauvinist pig there, you know.
And there was not a great interview for the quality, just because of the fact it was so awful everybody remembers it.
Yeah. I mean, one of my other favourites, I think, is Clive Anderson and the Bee Gees, in which two Bee Gees, you know, it's like the Oscar Wilde thing, you know, to lose one Bee Gee might be as good as... And sort of two Bee Gees sort of walked off, and the third one sort of was left there sort of looking a bit sheepish. And Clive Anderson
some people like it when their guests walk off because...
Well, it's great ratings, so it's fantastic.
I mean, York recently walked off an interview, didn't she? Of course, that made headlines, and Piers Morgan recently. And
Piers are specialising in this now. But then again, you've got your instant water cooler moment, haven't you? And I mean, you know, in amongst a plethora of YouTube and you know, so many internet sites now and so many distractions. I mean, we talk about the golden era of interviews. It was only golden because there was so little choice. Everything was golden. So when you have those moments now, and when they are genuine water cooler moments, everyone remembers it.
I suppose more focus on the individual interviews because there are so many of them going out now.
Absolutely.
But also, I'm just trying to think that the talk show as was has been and gone. It had its sort of height in the 70s and 80s. You had Parky here, you did Dick Cavett and...
Well, Parky, of course, because he interviewed pretty much everybody in the world, you know, probably including my neighbour, you know. So, of course, it would be memorable.
I'm just having a look at some of those that people have been sending in. So let's just remind ourselves. We've got, we've got the Russell Harty one with Grace Jones, where, of course, she slaps him, which was very memorable. We had the Richard Whiteley one with the ferret.
Yes, which are both sort of broadcast disasters, really. But Brendan remembers particularly Dennis Potter's last interview with Melvyn Bragg.
That was extraordinarily moving, actually. I cried, actually, for that. Extraordinarily moving.
Terry Wogan had a one-sided interview with Anne Bancroft. I don't remember that one. There was Terry Wogan's interview with...
David Icke. Memorably. Oh, yes. I am the son of God,
David Blaine. The hand.
Oh, the eye on the hand. And I think Eamon Holmes just sort of stared at the eye, and the eye stared at Eamon Holmes.
I've often thought, what would I have done in that situation? You know, if you get an interviewer who comes on actually doesn't say anything.
I suppose, wouldn't you just do what you would normally do in everyday life? If you sat down for tea with somebody and they just sat there with their hand like that, you'd
play patter cake, wouldn't you? You know, so you'd give them a high five. There you go, David.
Can they make or break careers on both sides?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think Meg Ryan's career certainly probably hasn't recovered on this side of the pond. You know, I think people are quite reluctant to have her back after that particular debacle. But as I say, I think it was terribly unfair in that case. Rod Hull, I think, didn't particularly suffer, so it doesn't always work there. I mean, Michael Parkinson famously had quite a delicate operational scar, which he warned Emu, don't touch that. Before we go, don't touch that. And of course, that's game on to Emu, you know, red rag to bull.
Yes, of course, made Martin Bashir's career with the...
Princess Diana. Your head down, eyes up, you know, famous iconic image. You know.
Ali, thanks very much. Thank you. You can see the Radio Times list of suggested top interviews and vote for your favourite by going to the Radio Times website at radiotimes.co.uk/interviews. We said Radio Times often enough. And you can vote for Sian, actually, on that. She's got a radio interview on that list too.
She does indeed, and thank you.